The Fate of Heroes, starring Patrick, Devin, Rob, Tamara, and John as the Game Master.
We focus in on an office overlooking the beach on Matakuri, the island once known as being the place for the future people. In one of the offices is Doc. He is older. He has grayer hair than last we have seen him. He is looking over his notebooks when in walks a young lady, or at least, well, not a young lady, I guess that'd be the wrong word. In walks a lady who has, well, how about you describe Leelui at this point?
Well, basically, in walks a lady with bright green hair. She's not tall, not short, and wearing what can only be described as eclectic clothes.
Multi-generational, you might even say.
Yeah, they don't really fit in anywheres.
Yep. Doc does not know who this is.
Then Doc is going to look up from his notebooks, push his glasses up off the bridge of his nose, and just stare at her.
Why do you wear those when you don't need them?
He's going to arch an eyebrow at that question. How do you know me?
Do I know you?
You really threw me off guard with that glasses comment.
Well, I know you, but I don't. And you don't know me, but you will. Maybe.
What's your name?
Leelui Rasputin Warner.
He starts scribbling down his notebook.
The name Rasputin would definitely ring a bell.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
As would Warner, for that matter.
And, I take it you walking into my office, something, so how may I help you, Miss Warner, was it? And I pull out a chair for her to sit.
She walks over and sits on the desk, starts playing with things on your desk.
He does that thing where he pinches the bridge of his nose like, oh my god, I'm going to have to recognize all.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Miss Warner?
Guess what?
How can I help you?
You can help me?
Doc's going to open up the door to his office and look out. Like, is there anybody else here?
Yeah, you see Zoey actually marching with purpose towards you. And she's like, oh good, I was looking for you.
Right, I'm going to need some help. I might need this one in my lab.
Really?
I think I could learn a lot.
who's this one?
I
And
step
she
to the
walks
side.
in. And she goes, oh, hello, Leelui.
Hi, great grandma-in-law.
Huh?
Indeed. She looks over at Doc and says, time displacement, it's a terrible thing. You know her grandfather. And she nods meaningfully at you about that.
Right. I'm still unsure as to why she marched into my office.
Well, I don't know exactly, but let me, I guess, try to ask that question. So, what you doing here, Leelui? I haven't seen you since you were... And she puts her hand, like, about the height of her knee. That high?
You just saw me. No. You're going to just see... No. Oh, poop. What year is it?
Zoe's nose starts to bleed. She looks over and says, I'm not sure I should tell you, knowing you, but it's,
2021?
well, 5 years from 2017. 2000 and... My math is not good.
21.
2022.
2021, John.
That's 4 years, isn't it?
No.
Oh, no. No. 1 second.
Oh, yeah, maybe it is.
Yeah, it's 22. I was like,
Okay,
wait a second.
okay.
Yeah.
That's hard.
We're all awesome math people.
I was a history major. Leave me alone. All
I'm
right.
just watching this happen and just notes down like
Uh-huh. And she looks over at you, Doc, and says, yeah, this one, well, you know about Alex, right?
Doc just nods while he furiously writes in his notebook.
That's his granddaughter. And you know that Alex is not anywhere near of age to have a granddaughter.
Well, if it's only 2022, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not born yet. Whoops. Well, I
mean-
am, but it's before I was born, but also after. So
Doc walks around to the other side of his desk while Zoe and Leelui are talking,
Mm,
and he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small little case and unzips it, and then pulls out a needle and just jabs Leelui in the arm and takes a blood sample, and then just quickly puts it back in his pocket. Like nothing ever happened.
he does that.
well, he
yeah.
takes after you for some reason.
Oh
I wonder
crap,
who
I didn't
got
even
that
realize
from,
that.
Zoe.
Well, Doc is... he's not related to me, but he's kind of the reason why I ended up where I am. So maybe...
Well, it's a good thing your great-grandson puts an end to that behavior, I can tell you.
My great-grandson? He's not my grandson.
No, your great-grandson. Oh, wait. Your potential future great-grandson.
I don't want to know this. I don't want to know, remember? Look,
You're going to arrest me for something eventually, so you might as well know. I mean...
look.
As
I
you
don't
two
even
are
know what you're
talking, Doc
talking
has one of
about.
those eye magnifying glasses, and he's just trying to get in Lee's eyes to look.
Sorry,
Yep.
what were you trying to do?
He's trying to look in your eyes with a magnifying glass.
One of those little ones with the lights that the doctors use.
She's just kind of going to look at him. They're both the same color now, so there's not much point.
He just nods, scribbles.
So, what are you here for? There must be a reason.
There must?
Well, I suspect your grandfather has something to do with this.
Probably.
So I'm sure there's some sort of reason. Do you want to tell me what it is?
I don't know.
Or-
Go ask Alex.
I can't ask Alex. He's not here. You know that.
How would I know that? I didn't even know what year it was.
You're not even here at this point.
Yes, I am. I'm right here.
She smacks her hand to her head, rubs her temples just slightly, and says, "No, silly."
She's kind of got you on that one there, Zoe.
Yeah, I know that. I'm talking about the fact that your potential past self is not here currently. Because your potential past grandfather is lost in time with you, along with my idiot husband and his friend.
Oh, is that what's going on right now? Oh.
Well, as near as we can figure, yes.
Right. I wonder how Bob's doing.
Mid-sentence,
I don't want to know.
Mid-sentence, Doc is going to pull out a thumb depressor, like one of those popsicle stick things, and just press it down on Leelu's tongue while she's talking.
What are you doing?
He just nods and starts scribbling in his notebook again.
You get a report back on your phone, and the blood sample report says that definitely Annua genes. Not full-blooded, definitely mixed with, effectively where she's had two parents that were activated, and now she's been activated. Or in her case, three parents, a grandparent included. Or two.
She's going to idly pick up a pencil off your desk and just start drawing on the desk.
He promptly takes the pencil away and places it right back where it was.
And a little gremlin pops up from your desk.
He promptly squashes the gremlin. And just kind of shoos it onto the floor.
It pops back up and scurries away under his desk, chittering.
Now, Leelui, why are you here? Focus for me, please. Jeez. You'd think you were bad enough with Jacob.
I don't know, I'm here for something, obviously. I'm just going to start fiddling with more stuff on the desk.
Look, has it got something to do with what's going on with you guys?
I don't know.
All I know
Does
is that Emma came to me a while ago to tell me that she saw some of you.
Who's Emma?
Emma. She is the young lady who lives on the island. She's special.
As opposed to the rest of us?
As opposed to even more so.
Okie dokie.
As the fact that she can actually connect to people through time. Special?
Okie dokie.
That's pretty bizarre.
So what does she say is going on? I don't know what's going on right now, because I don't know what time is now.
Look, we're trying to figure out how to get them home. They're currently jumping from place to place. The last place that Emma saw them was in Egypt. And then she said she talked to you about some book that she was supposed to give to Alex. And that was at Pompeii, she told me.
Oh, yeah. Saturnalia. No. Yeah? Was that Saturnalia?
I would assume so.
Yeah, it was the penis crown.
The what?
No.
Don't
never
explain.
Mind. No, it's fine. It'll break your little brain, great-grandma-in-law.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. This already breaks my brain talking to you. My life has been confusing enough without this addition.
I'm still quite curious as to why this addition busted into my office.
Yes, why are you here? I keep asking this.
I have no idea. I'm apparently here for something, because, because Bob lent me a crayon so I could get here. Kind of shooed me through for some odd reason. I don't know. He's not a very good parole officer. You should talk to him when you see him next, great-grandma-in-law.
And who is this Bob fellow?
My parole officer. And my husband. And her great-grandson.
TMI.
Bob who?
Bob. Bob.
Bob.
Does Bob have a last name?
He does.
What is
Palmer. It would be Palmer. That's
Oh,
basically Zoey says that.
Oh, all right.
She's like,
trying to remember.
It's Palmer. Obviously, it's Palmer.
Yes, that's it. Bob Palmer.
Because only a Lincoln descendant could be this.
Oh, don't worry.
Very well.
We'll be having chats with Mr. Bob Palmer.
Well, no, you won't. I don't think you exist when he comes to exist, which is not in existence yet.
I've lived a very long time, Leelui, or Miss Warner.
But I don't remember you from then, which isn't now, which is not happening yet.
Maybe because I didn't know you from now, which will alter the course of the future, and you will know me then.
No. No, it's all set already. Potential
Are you-
future way me told me that once.
Are you sure we can't bring this to my lab, Zoey?
I mean, I'm getting to the point where I'm kind of thinking that might be an idea, but I know what you do with those lab experiments, and I realize the president kind of gives you a bit of carte blanche, but on this occasion, it's probably not the best suggestion.
Wait a minute.
What?
Wait a minute. Are you
Can
the
you
reason
regenerate-
we had to run in the potential future?
The what?
Kind of squints at you.
Did she what?
What lab are we in?
We're not in a lab, dear.
You're in my office.
Yeah.
Well, what lab does he want us to be in?
My lab.
But
He
what
has his
lab?
own lab. It's not
Doesn't have a
YBC
name.
lab. He has his own personal menagerie.
She's
I
still
like to
gonna
learn
squint at
things
him.
about people.
Mm-hmm.
You fascinate me.
I fascinate everyone.
Do you regenerate?
I don't know.
Well, yeah. I
Jacob
don't
might know,
that
but he's
matter.
not here right now.
Who's Jacob?
My brother.
Where is he?
I don't know. He lived in my brain and he doesn't anymore.
Interesting. He just starts scribbling furiously in his notebook.
This notebook is filling up. Zoe finally, after rubbing her temples for I think the fourth or fifth time, puts her hands down in her lap, kind of brushes her skirt down a bit, looks at Leelui and says, "Is there a note, possibly?"
Maybe.
Could I see it if there is?
If I knew if it existed, yeah. I don't know. She starts absently patting away at her clothing.
Okay. Normally I'd have you roll, but on this occasion, you find a piece of paper sitting in your top pocket.
Hey, look at that! There's a note. Here you go, potential future great-grandmother-in-law.
As she reaches out to hand it to you, he's going to quickly scrape her arm, not hard, just enough to get a skin sample, and then put it in a little vial and put that in his pouch.
And she's gonna glare at Zoey.
What? I didn't do nothing. That's his fault. And
It had to come from somewheres. Unless he taught you.
never mind. And Zoe opens the letter and looks at it and looks at you again, Leelui, quizzically, and says, "Why are you telling me to tell you to go home?"
I don't know.
This is such a confusing situation.
It's probably future me or past me telling you to tell me that.
I don't even know
And-
right now.
But future me or past me probably told Bob, your future grandson, to give me that note.
Okay. I'm just Leelui, go. Just go.
Go where?
I don't know. Back to wherever you came from. Oh my gosh. Here. Do you need a crayon? Do you need a pen? Do you need a pencil?
Maybe.
If you come into my sight again, I will, I kid you not, arrest you.
Oh, you've already done that.
Go away.
Or rather, you're going to.
Go.
Maybe this is when you do it.
Now. Ah!
She's gonna stand there and blink at her.
Young
Doc
lady.
is holding a syringe that Zoe definitely recognizes as like a
As a what? Sorry?
like an elephant tranquilizer.
Oh, Lord. She looks over at you and says, look, do you want him to do experiments on you? Is that what you're wanting right now?
Doc nods.
Pokey
Go
Pratty.
home. Please.
Which one?
The one that isn't in this time period. Take your pick.
That's a lot. Maybe I'll go visit potential future great uncle. What's his name?
You do that. I'm sure potential future what's-his-name will love you.
What was his name? Why had I
Doc's gonna
forgotten his name?
Doc's gonna pluck a single hair from her and put it into a little glass vial and put it in his pocket.
She's gonna glare at Zoe again.
Zoe squints, says, is his name Trevor?
Oh yeah! Potential future
Yeah.
great uncle Trevor.
Go see him.
Okie dokie.
Bye.
Bye! I'm just gonna draw a tunnel and jump on through.
Ow. Then goes back a season.
And Doc promptly starts trying to erase the circle on his wall, I guess.
It dissipates fairly quickly. Zoe looks at you as you're trying to rub it out and says, so this letter says that we need to do something which will lead to the arrest of a couple of people. By us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not completely clear as to why, but apparently Leelui of some variety has told us that we need to send Emma back to grab Alex and get him to Russia.
Well, I mean, do you need me to sign something?
Please.
I trust you. Do whatever needs to be done. Yes.
Thank you.
You're making me take the word of a...
She's a maniac, I understand. I don't even fully understand what's going on. This is... I don't know. At this point, we gotta do something, because we gotta get them back. This has been going on too long.
He's looking down in his notebook, and he just looks up and he starts nodding like every word you just said.
He just what?
Course,
Sorry?
yes. That he heard every word you just said.
Mm-hmm.
He says, oh, yes, of course.
She kind of exasperatedly puts her hands down by her side and says, look, I'm talking about the fact that the president wants us to resolve the issue with the other government. And we can only do it with them. You know that.
You know, life was so much easier when I just sat in my lab.
It was a lot easier when I used to sit inside a Wise One time disc thing. But we can't have what we want, now can we? was easier when my children didn't sass me and my husband was actually here and I wasn't 70 years old.
All right, I already have a
20.
dossier on you, Zoe. I don't.
Maybe you poke her head back through the wall for a second.
Oh God!
What? What does
Hi!
Leelui say?
Uncle
Dog
Trevor
jumps.
was in trouble. I helped him hide a body. It's okay now. Bye. And she leaves.
I'd like a warrant out for that one's a. Please.
Yeah. I'm good with that. Troublemakers.
Listen, whatever you need signed, I'll sign it for you.
Thank you. And she puts about 4 pieces of paper down at your desk. Says sign here, pointing at the bottom.
Scribble, scribble, scribble.
Sign here, pulling up the next page. Next page.
Abbreviation.
And last page, please.
Thumbprint.
She nods and says, make sure you are clear that we can't experiment on them. I mean, your samples are fine, you know that, but we can't experiment on them in the way you want. At least not these ones. Okay? Please.
He opens up his and pulls out another piece of paper, signs it, hands it over.
Thank you. She smiles at him and says, my husband would never forgive me if I let you just do what you wanted. She pats him on the head and says, have a good time, Doc. We'll see you later, sir.
He just nods and rubs the bridge of his nose.
I guess I'm off to see the president. Yay! He's such a lovely individual. At least I like his vice president, John. And she walks out. As Zoe boards the plane to New Saint City, she contemplates the things that she's been asked to do and comes to conclusions that she might have to reconsider the original direction, but kind of giggles to herself as she looks through the paperwork with Doc's thumbprint and initials and 2 signatures and kind of laughs again about his tendencies. And as the plane comes into land several hours later, she makes her way to the Capitol and enters into the beyond the security, beyond the guards, beyond the military, which is everywhere in New Saint City at this point. She, at this stage, has put on her uniform. She wears the uniform of a captain in the military, and she enters into the office of the president. She looks over at his communications person and says, "Is he free? I need to talk to him in private, please." "Yes, ma'am. I believe he's got nothing further for today. Is that correct, sir?"
That is correct.
I will leave you to it then.
Have them bring the car around, of course.
I will do. Yes, of course. Your wife, of course, will be waiting for you.
Excellent.
And the communication person nods and walks out. As she does, he does, the Secret Service person closes the door, and you are alone with Zoe.
Walk over and give Zoe a hug.
"Hi, Trevor. How you doing?"
I'm doing well. How are you and Benjamin?
Fine. He's growing like a weed, of course. Causing trouble for everybody with his speed. It's been kind of funny. But
just like his dad.
Yeah, a little bit faster than I would have. I think one of the derivatives of people who have powers having children is that there isn't that delay of when it activates. Because you know how with other people it later. I mean, that kid was running around my womb, for heaven's sakes.
Oh boy. I really hope Christina doesn't do anything crazy like that soon.
No, hopefully. But I guess we'll see, won't we? So I've been talking to Doc. We had a visitor last night. Or we had a visitor yesterday. You know Leelui?
Oh, how could I forget?
Yeah, she said something about going to see you and helping you bury a body.
That was ages ago.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently that version of Leelui is the Leelui we talked to.
Oh,
so
boy.
whatever that means.
That was before the rocket. I don't remember, but this is a while ago.
Yeah, time traveling, bippity boppity all over the place. Yeah. Me too, bud. She was giving me nosebleeds almost literally yesterday.
Sounds like her.
Mm-hmm. I understand better why she could be a little exciting. So when we were talking, one of the things that came up was the fact that, well, you know how they've been trying to push this idea of getting hope? Hope? Why did I say hope? Damn it. They've been pushing that idea of getting Emma to try and help bring the boys home.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they are. I mean, we've had people looking in the. I mean, it's impossible to know what they're changing because by the time we see it, it's already been changed, right?
Right.
But I'm hoping that by kind of getting into a discussion and talking to Emma, maybe she can guide them. Zoey hands you the paper. It has, it's a note from Alex. It's a fairly long, drawn out note, even though it's on one piece of paper. It's written in small font or something. He's a journalist, so he gets a bit wordy. But in it, it actually explains that it's necessary for Emma to get them to Russia. And that if they interfere and can get him there, that will be the key to getting the others home because the jumps have been so chaotic. And he won't say why that's key, but that's the way he put it. And
don't understand how she's going to help them get to Russia, but okay.
So the one thing that I think we're going to need is we're going to need a little bit of your expertise combined with mine in order to do this. Do you have a couple of days you can give me?
For this, of course.
Okay. So, and she says, that's great. I'm going to let Doc know that I'm going to be here for a while. I'm assuming the border's as tight as it's been.
It's probably even tighter. The attacks just continue to progress more. They're worse and worse every day now.
I'm sorry I've left you to do most of this.
It's all right. I understand you and having a child again.
Well, it's more just the fact that I feel like we need to protect Matakuri because with those people there, they're kind of the last bastion of hope against her.
No, I agree. But you can only protect an island for so long. Sooner or later, the resources will run out.
Yeah, for sure. That has been their problem from the beginning, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's get this done, because I think if we can get them home, that'll help us turn the tide on this thing.
It'll at least be our first step going forward.
Yeah, I wonder what their faces are going to look like when 5 years has passed, when they come back.
To them is probably, 2 months.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know how long they've been spending in any of these areas, so they think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'll go get some of the commanders around here getting together, and we'll pile up some stuff, and we'll bring it over to you.
So,
Sure.
what are you talking about? First, dinner. We've got the bistro set up. It's not the same without CJ, but, it's still good food. And it's been so long since we've seen you. We'd love just to go to dinner.
She kind of smirks at that and says, fine. Okay, let's do that then. And then work tomorrow, I guess?
Yes, ma'am. Bright and early as always.
She laughs at that and says, I think I might approach Emma after we've worked out how best to do this. But I think if we can work with her, we should be able to make some progress. But yeah, dinner. Sure. I will get out of these clothes. She points down at her military uniform. And meet you over there.
Wonderful.
See you later, Mr. President.
Trevor's fine, Zoey.
She laughs and smirks at you and walks out. A day later, I guess I don't really want to do the dinner scene.
It's all
I don't
good.
think it's very exciting. Yeah. Also, I have no idea what April would talk about with Zoey because they don't really know each other terribly well.
You mean April and Zoey would be there. They talk about raising kids. Zoey would be like, "Oh, Christina's so cool. Oh, it's a bouncy baby." And
That's
just
right.
fun times out at the bistro, and we reminisce, we touch the wood. It's good times.
Fair enough. And if Zoe's anything like my wife, she's very excited to see any baby that isn't hers. Because it's a baby, but it's not her baby. All right. So we are stepping forward one day. The forces that are aligned with you have brought in some major computer related devices. Zoey is, when you enter the building, she is doing what she does, which is basically putting her hand into complex devices rather than onto. And she looks up and sees you. She's in a lab coat. She has goggles on, the whole bit. It's actually on YBC Labs. I should say that. And she looks up and says, "Oh, good,
Dang,
you're
you
here."
get here earlier than I, and it's 4 a.m.
She smiles and says, one of the holdovers from being in the time disk. I don't sleep very well.
Fair enough.
I generally get about 3 hours of sleep a night these days.
Okay.
Weirdly, it doesn't seem to have affected me very much, but it's just one of those things when basically you don't sleep for the better part of 20 plus years.
Fair enough.
So she points down at the parts on the table and says, what I'm thinking is we need some sort of formalized portal. Because, I mean, it seems to me that with her powers, she can project herself there. We don't really know fully what Alex did to get her to Pompeii. And he won't tell us. Last time I saw him, he was running from someone. And he had his family with him. But that was little baby Leelui, not big, annoying, green-haired Leelui. The kid version I can handle, even if Lincoln is probably going to be a little sketchy about it. At least according to what Alex says. So anyway, so what I'm thinking is if we can build this to effectively, I guess, create a portal, kind of like what those guys do, maybe we can make it a stable one? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't think anybody else will be able to jump into it because of her power set. At least as far as I'm aware, there isn't anybody else who can do what she's doing.
Right.
I don't even think she knows fully how she's doing either, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it came about because of hero worship.
Let's not get into that again.
She smiles and she says, yeah, I caught her. She has a Lincoln poster on her. It's from the action figure days. She has collections.
Oh, so she's not worshiping Dog Boy. Okay.
Oh, no. I think she was one of the kids you guys met on the beach that one day.
Oh, thank God.
Remember
when saved her?
Yeah, no. No, yeah. No. Before that, remember there was that time when you guys were handing out figures? Maybe it was just Lincoln and it wasn't Damien.
Wait, that wasn't the same day we blew up the rock? No? No,
it was before that. I think it was about a year before that when you guys first developed those figures. It was when Damien's figure blew up.
Nice.
Yeah, it was early on in the production series. I remember there was some commentary about his sound waves would actually produce real sound waves and cause trouble for the toy. So they had to do a recall. But yeah. It was a while ago, but anyway, ever after that, she's loved you guys.
All right. Well, getting her on board shouldn't be that hard. And what I was thinking is all of us are able to focus our powers in one way or another. I've seen it a million times. So my idea is going off of what you have started here, is we make an area, sort of like a place where you could put your hands or whatever, and she could focus her power into that location to get wherever this note says she needs to get to.
Right. Okay. So, okay. So, do we, I guess my question is how do we make it stable? Because, I mean, that's going to be the big problem, right? I don't want to send somebody else into the past and have them get stuck.
Right. The question is, with time travel, there is so much energy that is expanded. We have to use our knowledge of previous time-traveling expeditions, which we have recorded of all these past histories, of the history being changed, and trying to figure out what type of energy was expended at that time. And I'm assuming if we can calculate that, we are able to go and basically negate it or contain it.
Okay. That sounds like actually a really good idea. I know we have copies from like video evidence of some of the things Alex was doing, especially right when he made his first time jump, because that was actually right on the security cameras at the newspaper. So here, hang on. And she reaches into a computer to your left. And you see her her eyes they don't like change, but they kind of go a funny, like there's a bit of a glow. You see numbers kind of go up them, kind of in like sort of a matrixy way. And then they go back to normal and she says, yeah, got it. And she puts up on a screen and you can see Alex basically holding his head. He looks like he's in pain. And then a bubble of energy bursts out of him. It looks blue in nature and kind of vibrates in almost a liquid fashion. And then it sucks him in and he dissipates as that happens. And she says, my experience with him before last year, a few years ago, was when he would do his little tiny time jumps, it seemed more like pauses in time. So where he would be in one spot, then he'd be in another spot, then he'd be in another spot, but there wasn't this energy wave. Now, I've been thinking about this from a medical perspective, knowing what we know about these people and the X gene. I think it may be that or not the X gene, with the Xeno gene, I think what it is we're looking at some sort of metacrisis in his brain, like as if the tumor he was talking about exploded because of Lincoln's actions trying to heal him. And it hyper-powered his powers and sent him back into the past. So if we can trigger something similar, we might actually have an opportunity to force this, I figure.
Right.
It's just a question of, because as I understand it, from talking to Grandpa Raspy, he makes the suggestion that it was multiple people causing them to travel in time. That's why they can make jumps, because it wasn't just him. It was him and Lincoln and Leelui working in concurrence to try and make it work.
Okay.
So that seems to be how they're jumping great distances. But because it's not this same sort of level of explosion, there's not that same massive jump forward.
Right.
So it's a lot more controlled, basically, I guess.
All right. And I'm going to bring up all of my medical research from when I was analyzing and finding the cure for cancer, and trying to figure out what it was that we used to, what type of radiation we used to attack localized cancer cells, basically.
Okay.
And whatever energy that ends up being, I'm going to bring it to Zoey and say, this is probably what can contain the explosion of energy then, if it's something like the tumor that was in his head the first time.
Right. So it would act like it would cause the same reaction, but without the same side effects.
Right.
Okay. It's possible. The only problem I have is how dangerous how dangerous is it if we start sending people back into the past? I don't want to put us in a position where we're like, ooh, let's go kill baby Hitler. You know what I mean?
We'll probably only have the resources to do this once without another major investment, because on a small scale, the containment of this energy is benign, but when the amount that we're looking at, I have money, but
Right. So small nation budget kind of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're talking, unfortunately.
Okay, so do we think this is going to be a one-way trip?
It depends. Okay. How long do you think we need?
Well, I think we got to send her back to wherever they are present in that quote and shuffle him forward somehow. Now, he may be able to do that on his own. I don't know, because I don't know, what the time difference will be.
Right.
But let's just say it's 100 or 200 or 300 years, or maybe, who knows, 500 years. That might be more difficult to do on his own. So is there a way for us to trigger it so she can pull him into the right past from where she's at? So, like, it's stable enough to not dissipate immediately.
All right. So I'm going to go over to a computer, run numbers, just scroll throughout the entire screen for about 2 minutes as I'm running multiple calculations. And then I'll say, I feel like I can give her, based upon the amount of energy that we can get at hand, about 5 hours to complete a task. Okay, and this is what I'm envisioning, Zoey. Okay,
Okay.
She'll start this off, and as soon as it pops, or whatever happens, she'll have 5 hours to contact him. And I will also send along with her one of the little energy lasers, and I use quotations, that would normally attack the cancer cells. Okay, that should be able to supercharge him enough to pull him into wherever he needs to go. After those 5 hours, she'll have to either come home or go with him and ride this out.
Okay. Well, I guess the next important thing we need to do then is we need to bring it up with her. But let's work on this and see if we can get it built, because I think that sounds like the most rational thing at this stage in a very irrational situation. Because I honestly don't know what he's going to do when he gets to Russia and what it is that's gone on that has Grandpa thinking that his younger self needs to be situated at the Russian Revolution. But I guess that's not for us to figure out right now. All right. Well, give me about half an hour to get down to work, and maybe we can work on a prototype.
Sounds good.
Okay. So you guys set to work, and probably for the better part of half a day, you're going through all of this effort, and eventually you come up with what looks to be a decent computer modeled version. And as you test it, it appears to go swimmingly. But of course, after what's happened in the past, there's like quadruple checking that now happens to everything. And eventually you can get the portal built. When it's completed, Zoey looks over at you and says, "Do you want to turn it on and just make sure?"
At this point, the worst that happens is it blows up.
Well, then we wouldn't have to worry about her anymore.
Hey! Go and flip the switch.
The machine then starts to hum, and you feel a sense of electrified energy in the air. Like the ends of your hairs kind of stand up a little bit. And then it rattles almost, and then a blue light grows into a kind of liquidy circle of energy, and it forms down out back into the constraints of the gateway, and it is in a almost like a door shape. And Zoey looks at you and says, "I think it might have worked."
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere right now.
Well, yeah, there's that. I don't want to test it for fear of what might happen.
Right.
Because I don't want to get stuck in the past any more than you do. And if it didn't work, I'm not sure I want that either. But I'm going to try and see what Emma thinks, I guess. I'll talk to her about it. If she feels like she's up to taking on the task, then I'll bring her here and we'll go through, and hopefully she can bring our boys home.
It's our only chance we have right now.
Yeah, I don't like putting a young person in danger like this, but I guess we do this all the time. And Zoey lifts up her goggles, places them on the side on the counter, and looks over at you and says, "It's good working with you again, Trevor."
You as well, Zoey.
It's been way too long since we've done something like this. It almost feels like times.
I hope not to do crazy things like this all the time, though.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe when your 4 years are up, it'll be time for you to get back into the habit.
I mean, I'm okay with some crazy, but I point over at the device. This is a little extreme.
Says the guy that built 3 robots for me.
Details.
She smiles and just mutters, net. And with that, we're going to have to leave it here and see what happens next week.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a Distractions Media production. For more information, you can check out everything we do at distractionsmedia.com.